So the CME is going to introduce Bitcoin futures by the end of December. What that means is that people can open accounts now to trade Bitcoin futures. They don't have to open them up at any of these other exchanges. They could send money in. They don't have to worry about Bitcoin wallets or anything like that. Now the full speculative cycle takes off. Now I can see Bitcoins going up to 50,000 very easily. Anyone from anywhere in the world can trade Bitcoin futures in Chicago.
Well, how did they go about doing that?
Well, what they would do is they'd open an account up at a broker-dealer or an FCM, a futures commission merchant, and then they would just tie in like any other future, like wheat, corn, beans. So the present guys that are in the futures market, they're all going to come in and trade Bitcoins. That's massive. And any new customers can come in. So it's unbelievable that so many people will be crowding into this space very shortly, and they're all going to be buying Bitcoin futures.
And you think Bitcoin could go up as high as $50,000?
Oh, yes, because now they don't have to worry about exchange defaults. They could just deposit their money at what's called an FCM, a futures commission merchant, where it's insured and backed by the CFTC, and they could buy futures. And they can just sit on their futures and wait for it now. Guys that have Bitcoins in cold wallets and cold storage, they could hedge. Oh, this is massive for the future of Bitcoin. Because people that traditionally weren't in the market can come in now. Everything from big institutions to hedge funds to mom and pop. Everyone, they don't have to worry about the technology of Bitcoin, of wallets and blockchains. They just open their account and buy Bitcoin futures.
So has this actually been passed yet, or is there some sort of oversight that they need to go through, first of all?
Yeah, it's a regulatory process, but if the CME announces that it's going to happen, it most likely will happen. The CME is the biggest futures exchange in America and the largest in the world.
Right. And what does this mean then for Ankorus?
Well, right now, anyone that wants to trade Bitcoin futures when they list at the end of December have to go to an entity like Ankorus. And Ankorus is really the only guys that are Bitcoin savvy and futures market savvy, me being a former member of the CME. So a lot of the other broker dealers are going to be kind of clueless because they're not going to know anything about Bitcoins or crypto, anything like that. And we'll even take cryptos to open their account to trade futures.
Right. So how quickly can Ankorus be set up to fulfill this need?
After the ICO ends December 26th, we could be up and running a month after that.
That's fantastic.
You know what? It opens up a whole educational area, too, that people need to be educated about Bitcoins now, and there's going to be a big educational need from the general public that want to know more about Bitcoins because now they can invest in Bitcoins in a safe, secure environment. Where before, the only way Americans, as of November 8th, they cannot trade anymore on Bitfinex, but now they can trade Bitcoin futures in Chicago, which is much safer than going through something like Bitfinex.
And what's the mechanism that actually makes Bitcoin a safer proposition from this news about the CME's announcement?
Well, it basically comes under the oversight of the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. So the accounts that they open will be backed by the exchange. They'll have no problems with exchange defaults, hack wallets, all of that's gone. Yeah. So that makes it possible for anybody now to speculate on Bitcoin. And that's why I'm saying that prices will definitely go higher.
Got it.
Because you have all this pent-up demand that wasn't able to come in. It was so difficult to get into the ecosystem of sending your money through banks to crypto exchanges. None of that exists anymore. As soon as you send money from your account to a commodity broker, it will instantly be credited and you can buy Bitcoin futures. There's no problem of going through the banks anymore.
And what was the recent news with regard to Bitcoin options?
Bitcoin options come out in the beginning of the first quarter of next year. That'll also be out. And that'll be traded on the CBOE, the Chicago Board Options Exchange. So those will be out also. Probably a Bitcoin ETF will come shortly after the futures, once the futures are approved. So this is only going to be good for the crypto environment. And then next, they'll probably have Ethereum futures. That'll probably come shortly after.
Okay. All right, then. Thanks very much, John.
Okay. I'll talk to you, Martin.